friends! We're going to talk about how to set up your gouache palette. I'm going to talk about what colors, where to put them in the palette, and a special tip for using gouache. Maybe you're like me and you just want gouache to be quick and easy to use. One of the things I found really frustrating about it is when it dries out on the palette, trying to re-wet it and get a good texture that isn't too runny or too transparent. Also, when I put new paint on the palette, I find that it's a little bit too thick. I want it to be a little bit smoother to flow off the brush easily. I decided to try this new palette so I could have my gouache ready to go at a moment's notice, and it's already wet and the right texture. Colors. There's so many choices, but let's keep this simple. My name's Guenevere and I've been painting for 20 years. I like to paint really bright and bold colored things, so this palette works very well for keeping the vibrancy alive. I use a warm and cool red, a warm and cool yellow, and a warm and cool blue. These are my base colors, and occasionally I add other colors for different projects. And of course, white. Now we have to figure out how to arrange them in the palette. I used some graph paper and sketched out a layout of the palette so that I could really take my time and decide which color was going to go where. The challenge here is how to go from a straight row of colors to a rectangle of colors and try to keep them in the same general area that I was used to the colors being in. And yes, I did have to erase and go back and change it a few times until I got it the way I wanted it. I also planned ahead in case I wanted to add some colors, and I still want to keep my colors kind of in a rainbow layout. Well, that's no good. So what's happening here is the paint has separated a little bit, and I would really like it to be more thick paint in my palette. So what I can do is kind of squish it around inside the tube, massage it a little bit, and hope for the best. The paint is totally fine and the liquid will evaporate eventually. It is helpful to have a very small palette knife around to mix it together. Now that I've got my paint in my palette, it's time for the special tip. I learned about this watercolor painting medium, and it keeps your paints wet much longer, and in the palette, it will prevent them from drying out. I just added a few drops to each color. I wasn't super precise about the quantity. I kind of wanted to mix it in and try it out and see how much was needed. It's real easy to add more, and it's not so easy to take it back. Hey, that palette knife comes in handy again. I continue to mix the colors until they're smooth. Ta-da! Now I have my gouache. Simple, ready to use. All I have to do is open the lid and go. Oh my gosh, friends, I am so excited about this palette. I've already taken it out and it works great. Ooh, the paint is so buttery smooth. I love it.